weekly sit-down with local agricultural leaders and businesses. This is Tailgate Conversations. Presented by Pinnaker Chevrolet. You've traveled with us to Stockton, Missouri to see firsthand how black walnuts are processed. Now we're here at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds here in Springfield at the Black Walnut Hulling Station to meet the family behind it all, the Hammons.
My grandfather started Hammons Products Company in 1946. He was a grocer, had a grocery store in Stockton, Missouri, a small town where he lived with his family there. And he had an opportunity to buy black walnuts for a company in Virginia. He looked around and saw all these wild, natural black walnuts, a gift of God, and said, hey, maybe there's an opportunity for me here. So he bought a black walnut cracker in Tennessee, and the first year in 1946, bought 100,000 pounds of black walnuts. That's a lot of nuts when you don't know exactly what you're going to do with them. And they ran the business and grew it from the late 50s. It became one of the leading black walnut shellers in the country. At that time, there were several others. And during the 60s, continued to grow and developed the shell business with ground nut shells and distributed black walnut nut meats all over the nation. The people are the real blessings in what we do. Every fall, we get a chance to buy black walnuts, wild black walnuts that people pick up and deliver to us in all the different buying stations, 200 and some odd buying stations in so many different places. Thousands and thousands of people who each have a different story. And they all pick up the nuts. Sometimes they need the money. Sometimes they use the money for boots during the wintertime, or coats. Sometimes they can put food on the table. Sometimes for paying insurance that comes due every year, or taxes, I've heard that. Sometimes it's Christmas spending money. I see people that don't normally get a chance to interact with, and hearing them tell their stories of the difference it makes in their lives, going out with their families, picking up black walnuts, enjoying the fall days, the crisp, cool air. It's so much more than just getting rid of the nuts that are littering the yard before you can mow. And I hear from people that I interact with now, people who are executives, very successful businessmen, business people, and they tell me stories of picking up black walnuts when they were little and what a difference it made for them and the opportunities it provided for their families as they were growing. And I'm so thankful that we can continue to do that. Well, certainly I'm very thankful for my grandfather, my grandmother, who's still with us, who had the vision for this business, and my father, who continued to run it and had a vision and a hope that maybe I would be able to be a part of it too. And I'm also thankful for my nephew, Jacob Basica, who is fourth generation involved in our business. I've got a son who has done some work with us, and another son who may in the future as well. So all the generations of our family have been involved with it and will be for the next generation, hopefully years to come too. You know, we're not guaranteed another day on this earth. We're not guaranteed another year, but thankfully, Hammons Products Company has been around for 72 years. And I think we can be here for a lot longer.
Hands down, the most fascinating part of black walnuts are these people.
Well, we get up at 6 o'clock every morning or thereabout, and we get out picking up walnuts probably 8 to 8:30, and we bring the walnuts in about 3 o'clock, and then we go back out and pick up until about dark. It's much easier than it used to be when you pick them up by hand, but still, rolling these rollers all day and dumping them in the trailer is the hardest for me. As we are picking up walnuts, people will stop and ask us to come and pick theirs up. And we have people will say, we want you to come back next year. And just yesterday afternoon, this man said, as long as I live here, I want you to pick my walnuts up.
One of the keys is people picking up the wild crop and continuing to recognize God's resource every year, and every year that's renewable, it's agriculture. So we are all dependent upon the rains and the natural produce of the land for our subsistence. And that's what we depend on every year. We're dependent upon customers. We've tried to anticipate directions in the food industry, the trends in the food industry for wild foods, wild flavored, bold flavored foods as a food ingredient. And we think the black walnuts have a great message that is on trend right now for consumers' interest in these kinds of foods and flavors, and they're developing wild, natural products that folks are looking for more and more. Nutritious, healthy. We think that there's a big demand, a future demand that we're just tapping into a little bit. We're going to need a lot more nuts to be able to meet that demand too. So we're planting improved varieties of black walnut trees. We're encouraging landowners to plant orchards of improved variety trees. We're doing some of that ourselves. So that someday we'll have thousands of acres of improved varieties of wild black walnut trees that are producing the future generation's supply of black walnuts. So we're excited about the future of this industry and of the Hammons Products Company as the leader in the black walnut nut industry.